We good?
Yes, sir.
All right, good afternoon, members of the media. I'm Chief Madry, the Chief of Department. Standing here with me is Chief of Ramblers, the Commanding Officer of Special Operations Bureau, Chief Kenny, our Chief of Detectives, Chief McCarthy, the Manhattan South Borough Commander, and Chief Valdez, a Commanding Officer of ESU. I'm going to provide some details with an event that occurred earlier today, and some of this info may change as the investigation continues. But at approximately 11:45 today, at 206 Eldridge Street, which is the Lower East Side, houses a public housing development, a small 4-story building, very quiet building. Members from the Violent Felony Squad Manhattan tracked down a male who was wanted for a shooting that occurred on October 18th in front of an establishment named Izzy's, which is located in the Upper East Side in the confines of the 19th Precinct. Our officers get to the apartment in the building, apartment 2 Charlie. They knock on the door. They're met by 2 female occupants. Through a little more investigating, our officers become aware that the suspect they're looking for is in the bathroom and he's armed with a firearm. The 2 females exit the apartment without incident, and from that point, our warrant squad make contact with the male. Our warrant squad notifies our emergency services unit. Our emergency service unit gets to the apartment. They take the lead. They take control of the door. They take control of the scene. They establish contact with the wanted male. They're having different conversations, a variety of conversations with the male. And they're just taking their time talking to him, trying to get him to surrender peacefully. Our emergency service unit deploys different forms of technology that this department uses. They started off with the Scout, which is a small camera that's able to roll inside. The male was able to render the Scout useless. Our emergency service used a small drone to go inside. The male took a broom and swat the drone out of the air and basically destroyed it. And then our officers used an avatar, which is a camera that's on wheels, and it's able to roll in, and with the camera view, they're able to get a better view of what's going on inside the apartment. The officers used the avatar. They followed behind our avatar. They had their bunkers up, our shields, and as they went in, the male exited the bathroom and fired what we believe 4 shots. We believe 4 shots he fired. He struck a small bunker, a small shield 1 time. He struck one of our larger bunkers twice, and one of our members from ESU took a projectile to his bulletproof vest. We don't know if that projectile was as a result of a direct hit or if it was a ricochet, but that officer was removed to the hospital. He's treated. He's doing well. Our officers were able to return fire. They fired twice at the male, striking the male. The lead officer who fired also took the bunker, the shield, and was able to use it to knock the male down and pin him down, while other members were able to put him in handcuffs. EMS was already on the scene. Emergency medical services was already on the scene. They rendered immediate aid, and they removed the male to a local area hospital, but he succumbed to his injuries at about 2:55 p.m. Our cops, all the ESU cops who were involved, were removed to a local area hospital to be evaluated and treated. So I'd like just to take a moment to really commend our warrant squad first and foremost. These women and men, every day, they're out here looking for some of the worst criminals in the city, people who shoot people, people who harm people, and they do an incredible job of apprehending these suspects and getting them off our streets. And then, of course, I have to speak about our elite emergency service units. More times than I can ever recount, I've been on scenes with them, and their professionalism and their courage and their bravery always keeps people safe, and they're always able to resolve situations. Unfortunately, they had to turn to deadly physical force, but they were fired upon in this particular incident. This investigation will be continued by our Force Investigations Division, along with Manhattan South detectives. So at this point, I'll take any questions.
Could you give us an indication of more information on the shooting he was originally wanted for, and any information on what he said during that exchange and why he didn't want to give himself up?
Absolutely. I'll turn to our Chief of Detectives to talk about the original October 18th case.
Thank you, Chief. Just to paint you a picture of the perpetrator that was involved in this incident today, he's been identified as Kent Edwards. He's a male, 43 years old. Last known address was 691 Girard Avenue in the Bronx. He has 11 prior arrests dating back to 1995. His last arrest was on February 23rd for a rape. He was wanted for a 2023 non-fatal shooting in Manhattan, which I will get into, a 2023 sexual abuse, forcible touching that also occurred in Manhattan in the confines of the 9th Precinct, a 2022 strangulation that occurred in Queens, and he had an active bench warrant for failing to register as a sex offender. So this whole incident today begins with a non-fatal shooting that occurred on 10/18/23 at 02:49 in the morning. The location is in front of Izzy's Bar, which is located at 1450 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. This is in the confines of the 19th Precinct, and it's located between East 75th and East 76th Street. The motive for this shooting stems from a dispute inside of the bar. The shooting victim and his wife were enjoying an evening out when they become involved in a verbal dispute with Mr. Kent and an identified female companion. This altercation occurs over a dispute for using a photo booth that was located inside of the bar. This argument quickly escalates and spills out into the street, where Mr. Edwards shoots his victim one time in the left leg and pistol whips him to his head. Mr. Edwards and his female partner flee the scene, leaving 9 .40 caliber shell casings back at the location. Detectives from the 19th Precinct Detective Squad and Manhattan North Homicide were quickly able to positively identify Kent Edwards as the shooter. While working with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, probable cause was established for Mr. Edwards, and on 10/20/23, our Fugitive Enforcement Unit was assigned to make the apprehension of this dangerous and wanted felon. By using computer work and both physical and electronic surveillance, Mr. Edwards was tracked to 206 Eldridge Street, apartment 2C today, by members of the Manhattan Warrants Violent Felony Squad. Contact was made with the suspect at 11:45 in the morning. Residents there stated that he had locked himself in the bathroom and was in possession of a firearm. Warrant members quickly pull out of the location, establish a perimeter, notify emergency service and hostage negotiation. During this operation and dialogue, Mr. Edwards shoots at our ESU cops. A cop is struck in the vest. We return fire, striking Edwards.
Eric Thursky, ABC.
Thanks. Chief Manager, can you just identify the kind of weapon the suspect had, and also, given what we're seeing on the table, how close a call is this for your officers?
I'll let our Chief of Ramblers from Special Operations answer that question.
Yes, from what we saw that the individual had, it was a 9mm, and with us, we have these bunkers. This one is a 6-foot bunker that is a ballistic protection for these officers, and also we have a small one that is about 2.5 foot in height. So these officers are highly trained. They consistently try to help the individual today, and it had to come to this time.
Eileen Obama, Page 11.
I have a question. So you started with the Scout, then the drone, and then the avatar. So are the officers outside the main door, and all of these are able to? I mean, I thought the door to the bathroom was closed. So how is the drone and that camera able to?
Well, they try to use a lot of the technology, but a lot of the technology wasn't really helping them out the way they needed it, and he actually rendered some of the technology useless. The Scout, he threw something on top of the Scout, which immobilized it. The drone, he actually swatted the drone out of the air with a broom. They also try to use a pole camera. I don't think I said that. They tried to use a pole camera, but they couldn't get the pole camera in. And then when they came with the avatar, that's when he came out and started shooting. I mean, our officers, our emergency service officers, they really try to take their time. They try to use the technology. And when you talk about a close call, of course it was a close call. You have 3 bullets into the bunkers of 3 bullets inside of bunkers, which could have easily been 3 bullets inside our officers. All right, but our ESU, they're highly trained. They have some very strong equipment that they use to keep them safe, and I'm glad that they deployed all their equipment today because it kept them safe.
Rocco Parascandolo, Daily News.
Yeah, for Chief Maggie, Chief, could you talk a little bit about the dialogue between the officers and Ken? How long did it go on for? Did it look like he was heading in the right direction? And what ultimately prompted the move to go after him? Did he pop out with his gun? Did he say he was going to hurt himself? What prompted that?
Right, and I'll let Chief Valdez from the Command Office of ESU answer. When I was informed, it was a lot of bantering back and forth. He was asking for his sister. He was asking for medicine. He was asking for a lot of different requests. He was making a lot of different requests. So I think he was probably realized that he wasn't going anywhere. He realized that we were there, that we had him cornered, and he wasn't going anywhere. But I'll let Chief Valdez expand on that a little bit more as he was there.
Good evening. So we were in communication with the individual for close to 2.5 hours. Like Chief Madry said, he was talking about his sister. He wanted to talk to his sister, but he was particular which sister he wanted. We couldn't get into communication with her. He asked for water, which we tried to provide, and asked him to come out to receive the water so that we could try to apprehend him safely, but he refused to do that. He asked for medicine, which we said if we would get him into an ambulance, we could provide the medicine for him. But again, he would not come out and surrender himself safely. Once the Avatar was deployed, for some reason, I don't know why, he decided to come out from where he was secreted and then started shooting at my officers.
He came out, and that prompted the police to go for it.
Correct.
What was the medicine, and who are the two women? Are they relatives of his?
It's all part of that.
That's part of the investigation. I'm unaware of the medicine.
And his medicine, did he say he had a particular illness?
He did not say that.
And just to clear up though, when officers went in, they didn't go in to go after the suspect, but they did go in behind the Avatar. The Avatar went in first. They did take a few steps in to try and close the distance to create, better communication. But I think once the Avatar came in and he realized that the officers were right there, he made a move and came out and he fired upon our officers.
All right, we've got time for two more. Hart.
So I heard Chief Kennedy mentioning that the last address was in the Bronx for him. Do you have any idea what he was doing on Elford Street? And also, could you tell us a little bit about the technology tools you used to track him down to that location?
So what brings him to that location is he had established a relationship with two women that were inside of that apartment. We had residences for him in Queens. We had other residences for him in the Bronx. Like I said, we were actively trying to locate him since we had the probable cause established. So, he had many locations that he was kind of couch surfing and going to different locations. So, as far as the technology, like I said, electronic, we do a lot of phone work. We do a lot of tracking of credit cards, things of that nature. And we also do physical surveillance where we set up at the location, hoping to see if they arrive at the residence.
Any idea if his wife, kids, personal life?
That's part of the investigation. I'll get that out later.
All right, our final question, be right here with Steve.
So he was struck twice. Where exactly was he hit?
He was struck twice on the left flank. I don't know exactly where. I mean, that'll all be part of the investigation with the medical examiner's office.
All right, everyone, thank you for your time and attention. Thank you.
You want to pull him up?